What's going on, guys? Nowny Gaming here, and today I'm going to be bringing you a guide for Affliction Warlocks, specifically for PvP in the Shadowlands pre-patch. I want to cover Azerite traits, talents, rotations, things like that. I'm hoping to answer a few questions that I've been receiving, so let's jump into it. Alright guys, so for the pre-patch Affliction Warlock PvP guide, I wanted to start with Azerite choices. I know there's been a lot of controversy right now as far as what Azerites are actually working for Warlocks in the pre-patch. I've heard quite a bit of feedback from other Affliction Warlock players stating that Cascading Calamity is a bad choice now, as well as Inevitable Demise. After doing some testing and things, which I'm going to show you here in this video, I'd have to disagree, at least in regards to PvP. A lot of what people were saying was that Unstable Affliction is now limited to one, I guess, target, and because of that, the haste that you could get from Cascading Calamity is limited. However, in PvP, one of the best, I feel, PvP talents to be rolling right now for arenas and battlegrounds is Rampant Afflictions, which enables you to stack UA up to 3 targets. So I want to show you really quick while I have my Azerite spec'd into Cascading Calamity what that kind of looks like as far as the haste buff that you're going to be receiving. So we're going to go ahead and UA 3 dummies in here, and I'll show you really quick the haste buffed up there. I haven't been able to get it above 206 haste. So yeah, that's kind of looking like the max right now if you're triple rolling Cascaded Calamity, but that's still pretty significant. Right now, Vita Charge, Titan Shards give you about 239. So having that Azerite trait is essentially close to having a Vita haste increase. So I still feel like Cascading Calamity is going to be really good in pre-patch. So the other Azerite trait that I feel like has also been getting a lot of controversy is Inevitable Demise. I've heard a lot of people saying that it doesn't stack with the new talent that's come out, Inevitable Demise, and after doing some testing, I would have to say that it absolutely does stack, essentially making your drain life, once it full stacks, very powerful. So I'm going to go ahead and show you a demonstration of what kind of damage just the talent for Inevitable Demise does without any of the Azerite traits, and then compare it to having both. So we'll go ahead and start building up some stacks here. You can see them ticking up here. Okay, and we're gonna watch my actions here. I just got the proc. Okay. So looking up, you're gonna see here drain life ticked for 1498. That one was an overhill for 1872. There's another strong crit for 2997. But the baseline damage from testing this a few times is about 1489. So just having the talent spec'd into it without any Inevitable Demise Azerite trait, you're going to see life drain hitting for about 1500 damage. Alright guys, so we're back, and I have put on 2 Inevitable Demises. I didn't have a shoulder with it. I'm sure having triple stack Inevitable Demise in addition to the talent would be even stronger, but I wanted to show you the damage difference of having the Azerite traits in addition to the talent. So we'll build up some stacks here, and you can see them both ticking up here. We'll get the proc at 50. There it is. Okay, so if you look up here, you'll see the difference in damage for Drain Life, 2200, 2200. This one here, 4,486 for a crit on a Drain Life. So pretty significant. You're getting about an extra 600 to 700 damage every time Drain Life ticks, in having the Azerite as well as the talent. So again, as far as Azerite choices go, I feel like Inevitable Demise is a solid choice. Cascading Calamity as well for the extra haste. Those are the main two that I'm going to be trying to get on each of my Azerite pieces in pre-patch. They feel really good in Arena. The Drain Life damage is awesome when you can get it once it's going. And Inevitable Demise, as far as talents go, I feel is a solid talent right now in pre-patch. Nightfall, I haven't been too impressed with it, honestly, and I've seen a lot of people talking about Drain Life, which is better, or sorry, Drain Soul. Drain Soul is good, it's strong, but I feel like it's not as good as Inevitable Demise. Mainly because right now in pre-patch, we don't have the Shadow Embrace effect yet on Drain Soul. That extra 9% damage is huge. So here is an example of Drain Soul. We're spamming Drain Soul. This dummy here is pretty much dead. So we're going to go ahead and look at the damage from it. Drain Soul is hitting for about 556 damage. Like, really? Yeah, I feel like until we get the Shadow Embrace in Shadowland, the Drain Soul talent choice here just isn't as strong as Inevitable Demise. So moving on to the 25 talent row, I really feel like Absolute Corruption is your best choice here. Siphon Life can be good in that you are getting more value out of Prolific Rupture when you use it in the arena. However, with all the multiple targets that there are in the arena, you're already trying to keep uptime on dots that right now in pre-patch don't have a very long duration time. I feel like there's just too much dot management in taking Siphon Life. With Absolute Corruption, you're getting a little bit less dot management as it makes the spell actually last longer, and it also deals increased damage. So level 25, I feel Absolute Corruption is your go-to choice. Level 30, Demon Skin. Having the extra leech is awesome. That's kind of been a go-to for Warlocks and PvP. I've heard some good things about Dark Pack, that the new changes for it are pretty strong. I haven't been able to test it out as much as I'd like to. I've heard though that the shield that it gives you can actually be pretty significant. So the 35 row, Phantom Singularity is going to be your best choice for single target damage. So if you're hoping to focus with your other DPS teammate in 3s, or essentially also in 2s, you're hoping to do more damage towards one person, this is going to be your best choice. It's going to be able to enable you to really make the most out of your impactful spells against whoever you put this on. Violent Tank can be good. It's not as strong as Phantom Singularity as far as single target damage. So reading over, you can tell that you're going to be doing more damage against one person with this, whereas this one is going to be just doing a little bit more damage towards everyone that's around whoever you put this on. The movement speed reduction could be really good. So maybe against double melee cleave teams, something like this could be a little bit better. But so far from my testing, my go-to has been this, Phantom Singularity, and it's been working out pretty good. So level 40 row, I really feel like the best two choices here are either Mortal Coil or Howl of Terror. Howl of Terror is going to be a good choice when fighting against two DPS in 3s. And if you feel like you're going to beat the attack target and they're just going to be hammering on you, it's really nice to have an ability that fears them both away from you, kind of gives you time to recoup and to get away. So awesome talent there. I'm super glad Blizzard made an instant cast. I feel like it's a very viable choice, especially fighting melee comps. Mortal Coil, that's kind of been a staple for Warlocks in the arena. 20% heal and a 3-second fear has always been good. Obviously in Affliction you don't have Havoc, so you're not going to be double Mortal Coiling like you would as a Death Warlock, but still having a 20% heal and a 3-second instant cast fear is pretty good as well. So moving on to 45, Haunt is a good choice if you are not worried about your pet dying, essentially. So if you're fighting a comp that is up in your face or that's going to be chasing you primarily as a Warlock, then from my experience I've been playing with Succubus against double melee comps in 2s and using Haunt, and it's been working out pretty good. The extra damage that your kill target takes from having Haunt on them is pretty significant. So if you're playing against casters, or if you're worried about not being able to get interrupts off on a healer as well, Grimmer Sacrifice is a solid choice in being able to sacrifice your Fell Hunter and gain its ability, which essentially makes it to where you interrupting a heal is going to be based on wherever you're positioned as the Warlock, not as wherever your Fell Hunter is. So it kind of helps with management of like having focus attacks for your pet, you know, not having to keep your pet on the healer so that it can be near it to interrupt it. It essentially makes it to where wherever you're at, you're going to be able to use your pet's ability. It also gives you a little bit extra damage, and it makes it to where you're not worrying about your pet dying. So solid choice for 45 is either Haunt or Grimmer Sacrifice, depending on the situation. So level 50, I feel like Dark Soul Misery is kind of the go-to for arenas. Very strong, 30% haste increase for 20 seconds. Really allows you to optimize your Malefic Rupture burning rotation. However, it is purgeable. So if you're going to be fighting against a comp that has a lot of purges, then I suggest using Creeping Death instead, which essentially just makes you do 50% more damage for each of your dots. So that's kind of my opinion about talents right now going into the pre-patch. As far as PvP talents go, I feel like Rampant Affliction is a must-have for PvP. Having 3 UAs up is crucial. Essentially, Unstable Affliction is the dot that makes all of your other dots not dispellable. If a healer dispels Unstable Affliction, then they get punished heavily. They take a pretty good amount of damage as well as the silence. So having that on everyone in the arena in 3s is very good. Especially if you're fighting with like a Shadow Priest on your team or something like that. Essentially, it's making it to where all of your dots are protected under a blanket UA, and if that is dispelled, then the healer suffers. So pretty awesome. Secondly, despite the nerf to Death Bolt, I feel like Death Bolt's still really good. I've had 10 and 11,000 K crits with Death Bolt in the arena. That's like a 50% damage to some people's health. So still very strong choice. As far as your third talent, I feel like this is completely optional based on what you're fighting. Demon Armor, I feel like is a good go-to if you're fighting a strong melee comp. If you're fighting casters, and obviously Nether Ward. So that's kind of my opinion on what I feel are the best talents as far as PvP goes for Affliction Warlocks in the pre-patch. Alright guys, so jumping into essences for pre-patch, I feel like in PvP, Conflict and Strife has always had a good place as a potential major essence. Essentially, you're getting a lot of versatility if you're in a stun, increasing your survivability rate, super good against rogues. Also, you're going to be getting the passive PvP talent Rot and Decay, which for Warlocks is each time your drain life deals damage, it increases the duration of your unstable affliction, corruption, and agony on the target by 1 second. So if you've been paying attention to the video so far, I've kind of put a preference on inevitable demise for both Azerite and talent, making your drain life pretty strong. So other than Malefic Rupture and your dots, that's kind of your go-to damage spell. It actually does quite a bit of damage in the arenas. Having that as a passive, that Rot and Decay, makes it just so that your dots uptime is a lot higher. So pretty good there for essences. I feel like if you're not going to run that as a major, some other viable options are Memory of the Lucid Dreams. Now, forgive me, I don't have a rank 3. I should have that this week. But essentially, you're going to be getting a lot more shard regeneration, which in turn gives you a lot more Malefic Rupture spams. So that's pretty good. However, the disadvantage of that is that if you're stunned or you're interrupted while using Malefic Rupture, then your Memory of the Lucid Dreams kind of gets wasted. So another really good viable option I've heard is Condensed Life Force. I don't have it, so I haven't been able to test it, but I have heard that it's pretty strong in PvP and pre-patch, and that it works really well with a lot of your other abilities. So between the three, I would probably either roll Conflict and Strife, Memory of the Lucid Dreams, or Condensed Life Force. We'll kind of have to test it out and see which one you like the most. So far, I've actually really been enjoying Conflict and Strife for the extra survivability, as well as the Rot and Decay. As far as minors go, in PvP, I've noticed the Breath of the Dying has always been a solid choice. Essentially, your dots are ticking always. That's kind of the spell damage that comes from them, and if your target's below 20% health, your dots will do 400% extra damage. So, pretty good there. Also, your abilities have a chance to heal you and deal extra damage. So that seems to always have been good in arenas. I've enjoyed using that. I've noticed a difference with it. Some other good minors, the Essence of Focusing Iris, I feel like has been good, again, just for the haste. And the other one I've used is Spark of Inspiration, again for the haste. So pretty much anything that's going to increase your haste or give you a little bit extra survivability is going to be good in arenas. So alright guys, so I wanted to jump into a damage rotation here as far as what a burst rotation would look like in the arena. Granted, these are just training dummies, but the look of it will be the same. So essentially, you're going to be getting your main 3 dots on each target inside the arena. And once everyone's dotted, you're going to pop your Dark Glare, pop your Soul Misery, and start spamming Malefic Rupture. If you have Memory of the Lucid Dream, you can use that as well. And the trick here is to essentially upkeep your dots as well as utilize your Malefic Rupture. So that's pretty much it. If you're doing like a single target burn down, then essentially the only difference would be you'll keep your 3 dots on each person in the arena, and then whichever target is your actual kill target, you'll use Haunt and Phantom Singularity if you're rolling Haunt, and then same thing. You just spam Malefic Rupture. I personally like to, once after spamming Malefic Rupture a few times, I'll build back up a few shards, and then I like putting Phantom Singularity and Haunt on them and using your Death Bolt. And here you can see the Death Bolt did about 2600 damage, so it's just kind of a nice little burst window of damage after you've done that little setup. So, but yeah, that's the overall kind of gist of Affliction Warlocks. Alright guys, so hopefully you've enjoyed that video and it's maybe answered a few questions you might have had about Affliction Warlocks for pre-patch and Shadowlands. One thing I did want to mention that I failed to was starting in pre-patch, they will be getting rid of the 3 kind of like trinkets that the old PvP system used to have. You used to be able to choose Relentless, Adaption, and then the actual like trinket. It was part of your talent system. Those are now being sold by a vendor in Orgrimmar if you're playing Horde. I don't know Alliance, I'll be honest. I don't really know where you would find it, but I know for the Horde one, her name is Anika Malay, and she is essentially right behind where you would buy mounts or the old honor vendor building. Essentially, you go in and you go to the very straight back, and she's in the middle. And you can spend honor to purchase a 175 trinket that will either have adaption, relentless, or the actual just total removal of movement and pairing effects. So I hope you've enjoyed the video. I'm really going to try to get up some arena footage of kind of the build I've been using so that people can see just how much damage it is doing in the arena. So that's kind of my project here for the next week or two. But if you have any questions, comments, or you know, a different opinion, I'm interested to see what other Affliction Warlocks are running in pre-patch. So drop a comment. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the arena.